Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the two-game Tuesday NFL slate. Yeah, we have two NFL games on Tuesday, guys. Also, we have $1 million up top, so a lot of money to be made on this one. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you're unable to watch the YouTube videos, I also upload on Apple Podcasts. I'll have a link down below. It's called the DK DFS Show. If you have an extra minute or two, if you could leave a 5-star rating and review, that would go a long way. Would really appreciate that. If you're interested in signing for premium content, I offer 2 different packages on patreon.com. More info down below. The sponsor of this video is Thrive Fantasy. Guys, Thrive Fantasy is running some pretty big contests here for the NFL season. On Sunday, they are running a $40,000 prize pool, $10,000 to first up top. So basically, how it works is it's player props, but you're actually building out a lineup with player props. You pick 10 of the 20 options. The less probable the prop is to occur, the more points to receive if you choose correctly. So, for example, next Sunday, we have Tom Brady projected for 290.5 passing yards. The over is more likely to occur, so you get less points, but the under is less likely to occur. If it hits, again, you get more points. So there's a lot of game theory involved, and again, a lot of money up top here. So if you guys want to try out Thrive Fantasy, make sure you sign up and use my code DKDFS, all one word. You will get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, you get a free $100 to play with on this site. And finally, as always, I want to thank you everyone for your continued support on these NFL videos. Make sure if you do enjoy the NFL content to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's try to aim for 75 likes on this video, guys. Would really appreciate it. Every single like does help me out. All right, so let's get into this two-game slate, guys. And we'll start at the quarterback position. So at the top, we have Matthew Stafford at 6.7K. Probably your safest play in the slate, just for the fact of this is the Rams' offense is the offense you're going to feel the best about in the short two-gamer. He's looked a little bit better of late. He struggled against San Francisco and Tennessee, but now 20-plus fantasy points the last 3 games, and I'm not scared of Seattle at all defensively. Also, they're playing at home, too, which is a slight boost. So I think Stafford looks great. He's probably going to be the most popular quarterback play. Obviously, you have a ton of guys you can stack him with, so yeah, he looks great. And then Jalen Hurts at 6.5K looks like he is full go. He's no longer listed as questionable, even though the Stellar list is questionable at DraftKings. Again, the positive with Hurts, as I always say, is what the floor he brings with his rushing upside. The last 5 games, 71, 62, 55, 69, and 77 yards. And Washington's defense has really not been great this year. So I do like Hurts. I think he comes in a little bit less ownership than Stafford. I think both have a similar ceiling. But I think Hurts again comes in at a little bit lower ownership. So I like Hurts, and if you can have an average game through the air, you could see like 25 to 30 fantasy points from Hurts. So obviously I have interest in him. Russell Wilson, I think, will be pretty low owned. He's been disappointing this year. Now the last 3 games he's been averaging around 20 fantasy points, and I think again he'll come in at way less ownership than Stafford and even Hurts. So I don't hate going to Wilson to get different. You do have a couple guys you can stack them with who we'll talk about. And the Washington quarterback situation, probably going to stay away from. I guess there's a slight chance that Heineke or Allen could play in this one, but if they're both out, it's going to be Garrett, Gilbert starting. So that would probably be one on a small slate. I just don't know if it would be necessary to go there. All right, so let's move on to running back. And at the top, we have Antonio Gibson, who I'm sure everyone is still tilting from last main slate when he was the absolute chalk everywhere, especially in high stakes, and he just laid an egg, got benched 5 fantasy points. Now, the positive I'll say with Gibson is if they are, in fact, going to play with the third-string quarterback, they're probably going to have to rely on the ground game a little bit more here with Gibson. He's been a little bit more involved in the pass game the last 3 games. We do have McKissick already confirmed out, so I have interest in Gibson. I don't think he's a must-play, but clearly when the workload is there, like this guy's going to produce. It's just a question of will they stick with the ground game here, right? If they fall behind early, they could abandon the run. So that's the risk you run into with Gibson. Now, they have Sony Michel for some reason listed more expensive than Darrell Henderson. I'm not sure why. Obviously, Michelle was good in the 2 games Henderson missed, but Henderson is the number 1 back. And when Henderson has played, he's played like 80+% of snaps every single game, unless he's got banged up. So at only 5.5K involved in the passing game, unless Sean McVay just trolls us and plays Sony Michel more, which I guess I wouldn't be super surprised about. But again, based on what we've seen this season, I think Henderson looks great at that price point. Now, Miles Sanders, I do think gets some ownership. All I'm going to say is just be careful. Like, anytime you target a Philadelphia running back, it's just a headache. You just cannot trust this team with who they're going to go to out of the backfield. You would think Sanders is going to be kind of a bell cow, but hey, we have Jordan Howard coming back, right? And Howard was a guy that was very much involved when he was healthy. He's only 4.2K, so he'll probably steal some work from Sanders. They can go to Gainwell and pass down situations, so there's still some risk there with Sanders, obviously, but like the spot for him if the workload is going to be there. And then Rashad Penny at 5'4". So this Seattle backfield is pretty banged up. Collins out, Homer out. Peterson could play, but I don't know if we'll take a ton of work away from Rashad Penny. So at only 5.4K, I expect him to get a majority of the touches here. And he looked good last game, right? He had over 100 yards and 16 carries to get in the end zone twice. So definitely have some interest there in Rashad Penny. As far as the backup running backs go, I mentioned those 2 Philadelphia backs in like Gainwell or Howard. If you want to use one of those guys to get different in a large field tournament, I don't think it's the worst idea. I'm probably not going to play AP. That's probably it. Like, I don't know if I'm going to go on the backup Washington running backs. So that's our mat right now. Let's move on to wide receiver. I don't think we have to spend a ton of time here on Cooper Kupp. You guys know what to do with him. He's a phenomenal play, super high floor, high ceiling. Yeah, on a small slate, he's a very, very scary fade. Terry McLaurin at 6'5", I do think comes in at pretty low ownership, assuming that they're going to play with Garrett Gilbert as the starting quarterback. Obviously, that lowers the floor of McLaurin. Last 2 games have been pretty disappointing for him at 9, 5, and then 0 fancy points. So in large field tournaments, I think he's playable, but single entry stuff, it's going to be hard to feel super confident about going there. Now, keep an eye on Tyler Lockett news. I thought I saw there was a chance that he could come back. So just keep an eye on that one with Tyler Lockett at 6.8K right now on the COVID list. But if he can't go, then that's going to make DK Metcalf look really good at 6.4K. Just boost his floor and ceiling. He'll be the clear go-to guy. If Lockett ends up playing, then you guys know the drill in Lockett versus Metcalf. I can, whichever direction I go, just go the opposite. I've never guessed correctly on these Seattle wide receivers. One of them will smash, and one of them will be a massive bust. And whoever is the massive bust will be in my lineup. So, below Metcalf, we have Devonta Smith at 5.8K, who is definitely their number 1 wide receiver. The only downside is Philadelphia is definitely a run-first team, so they're not passing the ball as much. And this is a game you would think they're going to be playing from ahead. Home game against Washington, most likely playing with a third-string quarterback. So I think Smith, more of a GBP play for me. And then we have the secondary Rams receivers, who I think look great. Van Jefferson, only 5.4K. Did only have 3 targets last week. Not super concerned about it. And OBJ had 7 targets. He's played pretty well last 3 games. I think the 2 secondary Rams receivers look really, really good. Both guys should play majority of the game. The Rams run 3 wide receiver sets a lot, so those 2 look phenomenal. Other than that, the secondary Washington receivers, I don't know if it's necessary to go there. They're really just dart throws. Quez Watkins, number 2 wide receiver here for Philly. Again, they're a run-first team. Now, Freddie SWAIN would be a value play that I would like a decent amount here if, in fact, Tyler Lockett is out. Him and Eskridge would get more run. So those 2 are potential values here if Tyler Lockett cannot play tomorrow. And finally, tight end. So Dallas Goedert's been the security blanket here for Hurts. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Probably a little bit of an outlier week. But again, he's been the most consistent Philadelphia receiving target this year. And with Zach Ertz obviously out of there, he's playing basically the entire game. So I think he's a very, very safe play. Gerald Everett at 3.6, I'm kind of just indifferent about him. Had a bad week last week. It's a revenge game narrative. I think normally you're going to get 5 to 6 targets from him. Does have double-digit fantasy points now in 3 of the last 5 games. The Washington tight end situation, so monitor the status of Ricky Seals-Jones. He's questionable. He did practice fully on Monday, though, so would expect him to play. But it's a little bit different than we've seen earlier in the year with Washington, where they just had 1 tight end basically playing the entire game. Bates actually played 70% of snaps last game. Ricky Seals-Jones played about 40%. So if they're going to split the work with those two, then they both become riskier options. So those guys, again, just kind of tournament options for me. And then finally the Rams. So Tyler Higbee on the COVID list. Don't believe he'll be able to make it back for this game. So assuming he is out, then Blanton will be the top tight end here. He played almost 80% of the snaps last week. He's the flatman, 2.5K. Now, he didn't get involved a lot, but the snaps were there. He did have 3 targets. I think he's an interesting low-owned play in a Ram stack, right? The Ram stack's going to be popular, so maybe to get different, you take a shot in a guy like Blanton. And then finally the defenses. So Eagles defense probably going to be the most popular defense in the slate, but it's for good reason. They're playing at home, most likely against a third-string quarterback. Seahawks defense, probably my least favorite defense on the road against the Rams. The other two in Rams and Washington, I think, are viable. But I think the Eagles defense probably looks the best on the short slate. So, yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video today. If you have been enjoying the NFL content, again, just make sure to hit that like button. Would really appreciate it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know who are you going with tomorrow to win the $1 million. Again, we have a lot of big contests for Tuesday, and it's nice to have NFL games on Tuesday. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, guys, thanks again. Have a great night, and I'll see you all in the next video.